All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating short story from the online reading platform Prem. The piece is called Aniruddha and Usha, A Secret Celestial Marriage, written by Kuntal Ghosh. And the reason this caught my eye is how it takes ancient divine mythology and just seamlessly blends it with a high-stakes, fast-paced romance. It's a quick read, but the structural choices the author makes here pack an absolute punch.
And we are launching straight into the epic scale of this thing. Just listen to this opening line from the story's blurb. This is the story of two lovers who have written their name in the book of romance. I mean, wow. Talk about a bold, confident declaration, right? It instantly hooks you. It's promising a narrative that isn't just some fleeting crush, but something truly monumental. A love story worthy of being etched into the very history of romance itself.
Part 1. A Secret Celestial Marriage, where romance meets thriller on Prem.
So looking at the story's details, you'll notice Prem allows authors to categorize their work, while Kuntal Ghosh labeled this one not just as a romance, but, crucially, as a thriller. That unique fusion promises some serious edge-of-your-seat tension. And get this, the reading time is just 7 minutes. With over 34 reads, it shows that in this highly compressed window, we're getting an adrenaline-fueled sprint that is totally designed for fast-paced consumption.
Moving on to Part 2, Star-Crossed Divine Bloodlines, the ultimate forbidden love. Let's look at the core conflict because this is where it gets incredibly good. On one side, we have Usha, who is specifically identified as the daughter of the massively powerful Banasur, and on the exact opposite side, we have Aniruddha, the grandson of the supreme deity, Lord Krishna. The crucial point here is the immense Romeo and Juliet-style stakes. I mean, pitting the formidable bloodline of Banasur directly against the divine lineage of Krishna, that creates a relationship that threatens to unbalance the entire mythological world.
And how exactly does the author tease this explosive dynamic? Well, in the official summary, right after introducing these massive figures, the text deliberately cuts off with just these 3 simple words, the two, ... That is a literal cliffhanger right there in the blurb. It leaves us completely in suspense about what actually happens when these cosmic forces collide, practically forcing you to hit read now.
Part 3. The Dream and Sketch, Reconstructing the Plot.
Okay, because the story is broken up into these specific bite-sized chapters, we kind of have to play detective to see how the plot is actually orchestrated. By mapping out the chapter releases, which all dropped on the exact same day back in November 2022, we can see a really fascinating structural choice. To follow the narrative chronologically, you actually have to start with Chapter 2, where Usha has a dream. Then you move to Chapter 3, where a sketch is made. But the climax? That's in Chapter 1. The story actually peaks with a literal war in the very first chapter, meaning the subsequent chapters are essentially acting as flashbacks.
Let's look a bit closer at those flashback chapters to see the intimate beginnings of this whole epic. It actually starts incredibly quietly in Chapter 2. Usha simply dreams a face of a beautiful prince. It's this very private, subconscious moment. But then we get a massive twist in Chapter 3. Her friend Chitralekha actually sketches the boy. So suddenly, a quiet, mystical dream of an unknown prince is made completely real and tangible.
This perfectly executes the concept of an inciting incident. You know, the specific event that serves as the catalyst for the main conflict. It's honestly fascinating how these tiny, quiet moments, a private dream and a simple charcoal drawing, act as the exact inciting incident that sends the whole universe spiraling out of control. That sketch is literally the match that lights the cosmic powder keg.
Which brings us to Part 4, A War of Gods, the Divine Escalation.
And man, spiral out of control it certainly does. Just look at the title of that very first chapter, War, Shiva in front of Krishna. This reveals the terrifying ultimate consequence of Aniruddha and Usha's secret celestial marriage. It is no longer just a forbidden romance, it's a literal war placing Lord Shiva directly in front of Lord Krishna. A teenage dream has somehow escalated into a full-blown battlefield confrontation between the supreme gods themselves.
And the audience data shows exactly what pulls readers in. Notice that number 21? That first chapter, the one all about the war, boasts 21 reads on the platform. That is significantly higher than the chapters about the dream and the sketch. It just proves that readers are overwhelmingly drawn to the promise of this supreme divine clash. The thriller and action elements are, without a doubt, the massive drivers for this story's engagement.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, we are left with a massive conceptual cliffhanger that the author has masterfully set up.
You really have to ask yourself, in a universe where a simple, quiet teenage dream triggers an apocalyptic war, placing Krishna and Shiva against one another, how could this secret celestial love story possibly end? Can a romance built on a dream actually survive the wrath of the gods?